What do I know now that I didn't know then? I knew they were good. They're probably a better. I think they were a little better than I thought. Um, the front line with Rabacha and Murray. Um, maybe in a different way. Maybe Kentucky's front line. Um, really bothered us. But they're two of their leading scorers. Um, first of all, Chris Murray is a pro, um, a four-man that can score inside and out, and just a terrific player. And again, I recruited his dad. His brother Keegan's in the NBA. I think he was a fourth player taken in the draft last year. And his dad was such a great player at Iowa. Um, and then Rabachi he can score. They throw him the ball in the mid-post area. He can make plays. An outstanding passer, really good basketball player. He's way quicker than he necessarily looks on tape. So the front line is really really good. Coach's son, Patrick. Excuse me, he's got two sons, but Connor is a great playmaking, 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio guy that just makes everybody else better. They're deep. Sanford's a key player for them coming off the bench. You guys have got all the offensive numbers, so we'll be focusing a lot on how to guard them. Um, uh, we try to defend a little bit like Iowa State defends, and Iowa State did not. Iowa got them pretty good early in the season, and so we're looking at the things that they did well against Iowa State and some other teams that they did really well against. So shoot the ball from three, make 8 a game, play fast. Like, this is not your typical Big Ten team. They're physical, yes. They're the second leading offensive rebounding team in the league behind Purdue, yes. So from the physical standpoint, they're a Big Ten team, but they play much faster. They're willing to get it down the floor, and they're willing to take the first good shot. That's why they don't turn the ball over, but 9 times a game. So, and then really, really big guards, really, really long wings. So, it'll be all we want.
Bruce, you mentioned the three-point shooting. I think they're 13-2 when they make 8 or more a game. And then flip side, you guys are one of the best three-point defenses in the country. Just how key is that matchup?
It'll be really key. Putting pressure on the ball, making them put the ball down the floor, but not letting them blow by you. Gonna be really, really important.
Coach, near the end of the season, you spoke about the condition of the team, and you talked about guys just kind of tired, the grind. It's going to be a week between games. Can you talk a little bit about how you use this week to
Yeah.
get rest?
One of the things I mentioned yesterday, and it was really Stephen Pearl had mentioned this to me, and it's really true. And I don't know that anybody's written about it yet. Not that I'm looking for it to be written about, but that was interesting. 31,000 miles traveled this year between Israel and Cancun and California. And Texas A&M and West Virginia. It's just a lot of travel, a lot of late nights coming home, and so I do think, and then in a lot of close games and a lot of last second defeats, and so I do think that the team had to get up off the mat a lot this year, and yet we pretty much were able to almost every time, short of second half in Lexington. That wears on you. I do think that what we've done since we came back was we traveled back Friday. We had a really hard practice on Saturday. We took yesterday off, and we'll work 2 days against Iowa. And I think the guys will be fresh and excited about playing now. I think there'll be some new wind in their sails. And I think the other thing to emphasize is, this is the 12th NCAA tournament in 117 years of Auburn basketball. Our guys are excited about making it. There are a lot of good teams that are been left home, and I do think the body of work has more than clearly been a contributing factor to who was in and who was not in. We ranked 4th in number of appearances against NCAA tournament teams. I mean, we've been talking about the schedule and talking about it, not complaining, but we've been talking about the challenges of our schedule. And so only Kansas and Texas and Baylor played more NCAA tournament teams than we did.
Bruce, a lot of attention on Iowa's offense. Obviously, when you talk about defense, they do a lot of different things. What stands out to you?
They press, they zone press, they man press. They're good at it. They got really good length. I'm sure they'll try to bottle up Wendell Green and see if we can turn us over some. They have some drop back, a really nice drop back matchup zone. It's a zone that we play some, so we're familiar with it. But again, they're big and long, and they like it. They play it in crucial situations. They play it on short clocks. They play it out of timeouts, so they've got confidence in it. So we'll prepare for it.
Bruce, well, just one thing. The 31,000, round trip or just single way? Or
I'm sure that's all the travel, round trip, yeah.
So I got that clarified. And then this one there, man, you've been to the tournament quite a few times. What are some of your just fonder memories of, obviously the Final Four run, but other than that, like just your time going to the tournament and what it meant to you?
Well, it is clearly more fun for your family and the fans. We're working, but it is really exciting for the students and for your alumni and for your fan base to be part of this, March Madness. It takes one game, one win to get to the final 32 teams. It takes 2 wins to get to the Sweet 16. Now, have to beat Iowa and then either Northern Kentucky or Houston. That'll take some doing, but it's just, and because it is so hard to get into, it's really special. 95 we won a national championship. 94 we finished second in the country. We lost in a championship game. I think advancing, anytime we've advanced, obviously you feel like you just feel a great blessing from God and knowing that was His plan and grateful for it.
Yes, Bruce. The fatigue you talked about, how much do you think that played into the way you all defended, rebounded the last 5 or so games?
I don't know. I think there was some level of fatigue, but I also think the teams that we played, if you look at I don't have the last 5 games in front of me, but I know Tennessee, Alabama, at Kentucky, right at Kentucky, Alabama. There's probably a game in there, maybe at Texas A&M somewhere. I mean, it was some formidable. I think that had more to do with it than anything. The quality of our opponents.
Bruce, does Iowa remind you, personnel-wise or style-wise, of any team you played this year or recent seasons?
Well, they're much bigger than Missouri, much bigger. But they do some things. They switch, and they very aggressive offensively. They just remind you of any of the more up-tempo teams that we've played against. Just that they remind me a little bit of Arkansas because of their length, because of their size, and because of their big wings.
Bruce, so it's very unexpected to have you guys in Alabama and Birmingham. Obviously, the city's buzzing for that. Of course, the state too. I'm curious, does it actually help in a tournament like this to have that home court advantage? Do you feel like that really elevates you guys with those games, and how do you think that's going to help?
Well, I do. I mean, I think that anytime you've got fans in the stands, I think it can elevate the level of your play. Our players will feel the support from our fans that are there, and hopefully energize them and allow them to play at their best, elevate their game, and perhaps have the courage and the confidence to withstand Iowa's runs. Iowa's a team of runs. They can score in bunches, and if they get going from 3, they get pretty dangerous. So no, I think that is a factor. Look, we've had two champions that went to California and then Utah and Kansas and then Minneapolis and so I think with the pod system, I think they do their best they can to try not to have these teams travel too far, and we obviously caught a break here. The question is, can we take advantage of it?
Bruce, you talked yesterday about how Fran McCaffrey is such a really good offensive-minded innovator. I mean, his offenses are always some of the best in the country. In your opinion, just kind of what makes him and his team so good on that end of the floor so consistent?
He gives his players confidence. He lets them, shoot early in the clock. He's not, I think so oftentimes you look at great offensive coaches and you think they're going to, run Princeton, or they're going to, every piece has got to be in the right spot at every time, and they're all controlling. Sometimes your best offensive coaches are the ones that sort of let the players play and let them play out of space. And that's what Iowa obviously could do. They're a great inside-out team. They're a great back-cutting team, and because they do a lot. And we struggled. We struggled against Arkansas with their back-cutting. And also, great back-cutting teams are also great offensive rebounding teams. So when those guys back-cut, if they don't get it, they also hurt you on the offensive glass. And they're a really good inside-out team.